Hello and good evening everyone. First, sorry in advance if my audio is too loud, because my OBS, I don't know what it's doing, but it reset my microphone settings. Again, it should be good. Yeah, audio good. Alright. Yeah, I edited music. Need to double check later on the stream if the volumes are fine. Anyway, we are here at Le Mans. It's raining. There is many Peugeots on track, which is convenient because I like the Peugeots, and only 23 and 24 Peugeots are available in the sign-up list. So I'm taking the 23 Peugeot out if the game doesn't crash. Audio is fine, perfect. It's funny how when cars drive by, even on the main straight, the windscreen gets splashed. One more thing that I have to do with the audio so I can hear myself. There we go. I can close this and now we can drive. And when I drive, I will turn off the music, because the engine is the music. Alright, should be some fun racing here. Normally I do 2 beginner races and 2 intermediate races, but for today I thought, well, beginner is just like LMP2 fixed at Spa and GTEs at I don't even know which track. But then there is this double Peugeot at Le Mans with rain, and there is multi-class open at Imola, which has some rain as well, so and I like some changeable conditions, so that should be fun. So I thought maybe I'll just do 4 intermediate races or 3, or however the evening will go. We don't have neither Jesper nor anybody else joining me today, so I will need to find some opposition on track. I hope some good drivers want to have some rainy fun as well. Baldwin is on LMU. Okay, well, I hope. Wait, does he have silver DR? I don't know if he has done enough races. Maybe he is still in the bronze. GTE fixed. Yeah, I can imagine he will be just doing beginner races. So maybe, well, we have 8 minutes to go. So a little bit of time to figure out what to do with the brake bias, because normally for the wet it needs to go quite a lot to the rear, otherwise the fronts are locking up. The TC is not doing what it should be doing, so let's increase the max, power cut a bit less, and rear ARB 1 click less, and this should be nice. Yep, overdone the brake bias. And one interesting thing with the Peugeot is that, well, it activates the hybrid on the front axle at 150 kph, and in the wet that's quite important, so I'm thinking that it's for Le Mans important to only use the motor map out of the corners and then turn it off on the straights, so it can always go to like 200. And then when you're doing the corner exit, you can get the full effect of that hybrid pulling you on the front as well. it's funny how the rears kind of struggle to avoid wheel spinning, and then suddenly just RPM just stabilizes. I mean, it's not that obvious, but if you're listening for it, you will notice it. But I cannot leave it at max deploy, because then it will be emptied very soon. Well, this is the 23 one, I think. Wait, what do you mean, Dan? It doesn't what? The new one? 20, yeah, because there is some 24 cars without rear wing, and then there is some 24 cars with rear wing. So I thought if there is no rear wing that it deploys earlier, but maybe for 24 it already deploys on 190 for all the cars. Yeah, let's see at which point I get annoyed by this motor mapping on. I mean, to be honest, I can just leave it at 200, right? Because I will regenerate on the braking, and then I can just deploy it whatever I have on the turn exit, so I don't need to even go plus minus on the straights. Although that maybe means that in some corners I will be without any battery. Winged on is one... Well, let's see. Quite a bit of entry understeer, but on the exit I would even like to detach the rear ARB. It's just so funny how it activates the front axle and immediately the whole balance of the car is completely changed. On that exit I was like, I would almost go into the barrier on the left because I was just battling with a little bit of counter steering, and then suddenly the front gripped up and the rotation stopped. So TC is a little bit on the low side still. 11.711 should be a bit better. I think I need to reduce the brightness a little bit. I have set the brightness for the night because, well, I'll be driving VEC on Saturday and there's gonna be some night there. Where are you? Settings. Should be a bit more natural colors. Nobody's coming from behind anyway. That's better. Hi Ankesh, no, not too hot. Although it's been probably the last proper summer day here, but some rain has arrived, so it's cooled down quite a little bit, or quite a bit, no? Although the whole block is still, well, heated up from all the hot days before. So I'm not freezing, and I have GPU going 80 plus Celsius right next to me, so... And somehow this track map has appeared there, and I have not turned it on, and I cannot find... Ah, there it is, okay. Found it. Although I just prefer it off. Oh, that's interesting understeer. So actually it's time. Close and go to main menu. Quickly jump into the official server. Lion's Roar. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Unluckily, there is no weather forecast for the whole race anywhere, except when you actually enter the race session. So I don't know. In the forecast, it was just a cloud for the race, and there was like a little bit of drizzle for quali. So I imagine quali will be extremely wet, and then rain will slowly stop, and maybe the race will just be start on wet and then try to survive for 22 minutes, or maybe the rain returns. I have no idea how much fuel it uses. Keep forgetting to check. I guess 8 liters per lap max, so that's single shot quali is 16 liters. A bit less bias and wets, of course. And that's all that I can do in the setup. Oh, that's shining very brightly. There is a bit more drops of rain in the air than actual drops of water on my windshield. It feels a bit weird. Ah, now the real road is much less wet. It's slightly wet. Oh well, if it's slightly wet and it stops raining, then it's gonna be ready for slicks quite early. Quite some understeer out of Tertre Rouge because the speed is like 180, 190, and when other cars don't activate the hybrid yet, this car activates it already. Jankash, I'm doing this, and I'm doing Imola multi-class open with GTE. And then I go back into this and do this race probably with the new Peugeot and see if it's any worse or any better. And then maybe the multi-class open once more. I don't know, I really like the schedule for the intermediate races this week. Also, I'm driving VEC on Saturday in R Factor 2 with the McLaren GT3, and I don't want to drive LMP2 at Spa in LMU. I would completely ruin my braking points and stuff. A G Zhou. I'm a fake Zhou, not real. Alright. Well, you can change the name in LMU, but can only do it like once per X weeks. Oh, that's so bright. I literally cannot see the track at all. I can see it at the side. But quite nice graphics, I think. Hi, Dumi. That's a cut, of course, on the wrong side of that curb. So let's see how far I can push it on the entry here. There is so much grip. Okay, time for quali. Some people were on the softs, or maybe they just didn't go out yet. This guy on wets front, softs rear, okay. But this is no slick conditions yet. So it's gonna be rain at the start. No, this is wet. This is wet still. I'm gonna leave the ARB at P2. Kind of like the rotation. And it's not that wet yet. But this is wetter than in the practice. Practice was slightly wet, this is wet. Oh, so for sure the race is gonna be wet without a pit stop. Even if it's dry for the whole distance. And while I'm doing the outlap, how do you guys like the color of the chat border? Like, I didn't know if I should just completely remove the chat border and just have the chat popping on, like, in this area here, over that connector of my wheel rim. But then I thought, well, the border is kind of interesting, and then it's red around the face camera and blue around the chat, and I don't know. Again, I'm running into that issue that I can see if something looks good, but I have no idea how to make it look good. And at the moment I am really undecided what to do. Yeah, IDK, I have exactly that feeling. Hachemi, yes, this is the old Peugeot with the hybrid turning on at 150. Actually, I'll just leave the motor map on max, and then I'll have a little bit of that four-wheel drive push out of each corner when it activates, and then the battery will drain. And then it will recharge again for that 1 or 2 seconds of four-wheel drive out of hairpins. Although for quali I'm thinking of maybe leaving the battery full. It's gonna empty anyway. Just leaving it on max. Slightly transparent background. I was thinking of that. I kind of ran out of time a little bit. I was doing stuff this afternoon. I thought of that, but I was just doing it in Microsoft Paint. I mean, I received quite a nice border, but then I adjusted it a little bit for the chat border and changed the color and the thickness and stuff. But I'll figure out, maybe, yeah, maybe some transparency would be good behind that, or like semi-transparent. With smaller font, yeah, maybe. Supposedly I cannot change the color of the names in the chat. In the Streamlabs settings. It's just auto-selected for each stream and it is how it is. Zdravo dok. Holidays in Slovenia. That's very nice. Well, there is many places in Slovenia where one can go for holidays. And it's a very lovely place. Rain has stopped, but the hot lap starts. It's single shot quali, so let's not cut or mess it up. Traction control is a bit too restrictive. balance is quite understeery. Interesting. For the exits in medium speed corners, that's logical because the front wheel drive engages. But for the entries, I almost feel like I should use rear air a bit free, but I'm not going to. Also need to remember that the track limits at Le Mans are a bit broken currently. Unless there has been a game update which I have missed. So going beyond the curb will give you a cut. Hello Matteo, hello Marvin. I would need the ARB, but on the exit it's quite stable actually. Let's just put it to P3. Good evening, Thomas. Well, I mean, if you buy it now, you will receive the whole game on the final release, right? I mean, I hope. There is no additional fee. Marvin, yes, old Peugeot now, but I might do this event once more in 2 hours time, or what is it, in 1 hour 30, and then I might take the new Peugeot. It's still understeery. Oh, I remember now when we did that race at Monza, when it was drying up and I raced with Michi and we ended up on like 7 or 8 rear ARB with the old Peugeot. Still understeery, but a bit better than before. So one purple sector, one green sector. Let's see how is the sector 3. Well, not the greatest of runs to the last chicane, but P1 for now. And I'm the first one to actually finish the lap. Wait, let me check. Fuel usage 7.16. And it's gonna be 20-minute race, 60, and the lap times are going to be what, 220, 215? I mean 200, so 3 minutes is 180 plus 30 is 210. 15. 7 laps times 7.2-ish. Okay, 50.4. I'm gonna take 50. How much? 50. Oh, 53, let's say. Just to be safe. Yeah, Thomas, this is for sure a lot of fun. And I heard somebody wrote in Discord that the, what was it, Australian and New Zealand community, Jeroen sent me the link to that in Discord. And yeah, they are, the community of that area is taking, I think, Friday 10 UTC event, weekly event or special event, whatever it's on that time slot, as their like official gathering or official race. So Even though there is no leaks or anything, as we have a soft driver 6 seconds behind. Interesting. Even though there is no leaks or anything like that, people can just like steal one race here, register for that, and just do it together, and quite nice. And well, obviously leagues are easier and better and so on. So it's gonna be a dry race. Oof. 40% wet. What should I do? I mean, that guy was 6 seconds behind on soft. So if 3 laps on he will die into turn 1. Wet. If it was slightly wet, then I would think twice. But it will just dry up instantly at some point. It will take like 2 laps. Maybe 3 laps wet, then 2 laps of drying, and then the rest will be completely dry. So that's gonna be fun. I think I'm on the correct tire anyway. And yeah, let's check. PC. Oh, not that one. It's 1 to 7 maybe. Should be fine. Okay. Yeah, brake bias, it's 52.8 by default, so I put it to 51. I spun around almost with 49. It's not that wet. I think on the GTEs it needs to go further behind. Marvin, well, then I hope you at least enjoy watching me drive, and I hope your health reasons will soon allow you to race again. About the tiny pedal, I like it, but I was just thinking earlier that, well, it disables G-Sync, and well, currently I would kind of like, if I do this, I think the image is not as smooth as it would be with G-Sync. I mean, that's quite logical, but still. But otherwise, it's I think it looks cleaner. Like the LMU default HUD is really nice, but it's just like positioned a bit weirdly. Anyway, let's focus on the start. Oh, don't jump! Can't believe I keep jumping on that cold 60. Or actually I jumped on out of line. That guy's around on me. Oh, yeah, I thought he's gonna crash into me, so I stayed a bit more to the left. Then he was so good on the brakes until he was not good on the brakes anymore. So we have here the tires, and the guy in P3 is on AA, so AA is soft, BB would be medium, and so on. DD is wet, front and rear. So that's a bit scary, to be honest. The balance is quite nice on 7 ARB on the rear, even on the wet. So P4 now for the soft runner, falling down a bit, but not really falling down quickly. He could win it, but let's see how quickly it dries up. slightly wet. I fear it's gonna be dry quite early. "5 a.m. on Monday for FSR." Well, that's quite quite an interesting time slot for kind of high-level sim racing. Well, it surely gives you an exciting start to the day. About G-Sync, G-Sync is such a weird thing. Like I have FreeSync compatible, or like FreeSync monitor which is G-Sync compatible, although that's supposedly like on all the monitors nowadays. And then I had G-Sync, I had V-Sync enabled, which supposedly works differently when you have G-Sync. I had ultra low latency mode and all the stuff like that, and it was super smooth. But it was holding like 137 FPS. And when I just removed everything and started using Tiny Pedal, well, I have like 400 FPS in some occasions now, like on empty track with clear skies, and it feels so much smoother. But then I'm having like 150, 160 sometimes, and it feels kind of stuttery, I don't know. At the same time, I figured out that I'm getting massively bottlenecked by my CPU, and I have the 12,600K and then 3080 RTX. So, well, some bottleneck could be expected, but still, it's supposedly a huge one, according to some data. Yeah, CPU goes quite high, yes indeed. Although, I don't know, because in the past, when CPU was struggling, it could go like out of time, like unsynchronizing FFB and physics and everything, and then the FFB would be just completely dead. But now, I guess even if the whole system is fully bottlenecked by CPU, the CPU is still powerful enough not to have physics issues. Meanwhile, I'm still getting purple sector, so Mr. How to pronounce that? Kabandana in P4, 12 seconds behind. When it gets dry enough, he will just rocket past me. But it's not drying fast. The tire temps are still like 70 low, 60. Then require 1 or 2 more laps. And yeah, I have FPS capped at 180, I think. But I don't really know what to do. Like in the past, I had 60 Hz monitor, and it was really important for me to have FPS then capped not at 120 but at 121. 121 was for some reason way more smooth than like 110 or 120. But now this monitor is 144, and I don't know how these things work. Just feel like I want to buy like some high-speed camera, or like some tool that would allow to test for input lag, and then just check every possible combination of settings and just take the best one. thought I would get a cut warning, but I'm not getting any. I want a new monitor at some point as well. I saw some specs for this old G9 or like C49 HG whatever from Samsung that I have, where like it was slow motion footage of some object moving and it was leaving like a huge trace behind it, and I can observe stuff like that sometimes on my monitor, and then I feel like the image is really not as smooth as it would be on better monitors. But then, as soon as I want to get a new monitor, over 1,000 euros will leave me, and that's quite a big number. Yellow sector 3. Yeah, cables, I don't know. Like, cables are attached. And they are the ones that were provided with stuff, so they should be correct. And about energy saving mode, I am forcing it into the max max power, although sometimes it resets. Yeah, triples are quite an inviting option. Like, I thought always that ultra-wide would be a lot less expensive than triples, but it is not like that. Issue is just the space that I have. The triples would be quite limiting. Like, would need to move places basically, or completely rearrange my room, but I'm already lacking a bit of space. Although I do have a triple monitor stand. But I just have this ultra wide on it and the arm for my camera. Where would I put the camera if I had triples? I guess just above the monitor. This Peugeot drives so nicely. I mean, I'm not over pushing or anything, but I can just lean on the fronts, I can lean on the rears, on the exits, and it's just nice and smooth. Although I did need to adjust the ARBs for that. And the TC. Still purple sectors. So this should be now half race, right? I'm doing the pace for 6 laps, not for 7. So it's not drying up as fast as I thought at some point. Yeah, I mean, I was deciding between triples and ultra wide. But yeah, it was mostly space reasons. But also, supposedly triples can be a bit of a pain sometimes, because then some windows pop open on one screen instead of another, and some people who were doing content creation and YouTube and so on were saying they just went, I think, was it Chris Hay? I think I watched one video of him saying he just went to a single screen because it's just so much easier to do stuff. And then I worried a little bit. Although 240 Hz triples, I would need to update my PC, like everything. I would need to update everything to be able to run that at full potential. A bit of a rear lockup, I think, but I was quite late on the brakes. I think P4 is now starting to pick up the pace. – 19 FPS and a bit of stuttering. Yeah, if I went with triples, I would need like 4090 RTX and the best possible CPU and all stuff like that. Would need to pull like 5k euros out of somewhere. If I had 500 plus live viewers and 50,000 subs and stuff like that, then I could probably make reasons find such amount of money, but for now, let's see. I mean, it's still alright. I cannot complain of the setup that I have. I think I see a bit of drying line. Yes, for sure it's visible. And P4 has only lost like 1 second and half of the lap, despite me pulling off purples. Yeah. Ah, now it thought of giving me a cut, but it went away after, well, 2 frames. So I'm safe from the soft runner in P4. Should be just this lap and one more. Although with marginally faster drying conditions, or marginally less water on track at the start, the softs could be quite an idea. David, what's next? It's multi-class open intermediate race. I'm gonna take the Ferrari with the special event or PC weekly from previous week, and there is gonna be some rain in the second half of the race, and there's gonna be LMP2 carnage in turn 1. Hi Yo-Yo. Well, maybe I can get an esport contract. Well, I'm not sure. I could take that as I don't know how well you know me, or like I don't know who exactly you are, but it could be either very inappropriate for saying that good joke, but at the same time it is quite a funny joke, even if it's not intended. Yeah, David, I heard that Baldwin is streaming, but issue now is that I didn't know he was going to stream, and I really didn't want to do the beginner events because I thought it's a boring combination. And another problem is that going from intermediate to beginner races requires half an hour of nothing, because they are not concurrent, like they are just delayed, so that if you go from beginner to inter, you have to wait 15 minutes, and then from intermediate back to beginner is 30 minutes, I think. No worries, Yo-Yo. So no, it would be a joke because well, I actually have a contract with a team. Well, I mean, I have contract with the Rafa Racing Club, which is not really known for being an esports team, but well, we are assembling together an esports team. No, I didn't mean to be aggressive towards you. I just didn't know exactly what was your context, but I understand now. Picking up a little bit of understeer now. So where is the guy on softs still falling down? Okay, so I was really scared looking at P4 at Mr. Cabandana at the race start suddenly being P3 on slicks, and I was like, uh-oh. But it's just not drying up, so wets were the correct choice. But slicks were not a catastrophic choice by any means, like P4, P5 on slicks. Looking at this AA number, so A is the first compound in the menu, D is the fourth one, which is the wet. And hey, up and down, welcome to the wet racing. Well, Yo-Yo, it was a dream of mine to get an esports contract for many years. And then, well, I got massively helped by some viruses coming from China. I got super lucky, like it was exactly in the best possible time. Well, maybe slightly later than comfortable, but still, like, I was searching for a job. Like, I just got a job, but I was about to lose it because of the shrinking economy because of the pandemic. And then suddenly Le Mans Virtual happened, and some other stuff happened, and suddenly I got a contract, so... Issue now is that there is just not that many esports going on, so it's much easier to actually, I don't know, it's not easier, it's maybe less difficult to become like a streamer or content creator, because when it comes to esports events you either have Rennsport, which is basically, I don't know how to call it, they're throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars into it, but nobody's watching, or like the return on investment is extremely bad for them. Maybe they just have infinite money that they want to throw into it, but anyway. And then, well, there is series in iRacing, but in RF2 and LMU, well, we are waiting for Le Mans Virtual to be announced, so... And it should be more community based than last time, so... Anyway. P1. And the slicks were not even faster in the end. Or maybe they were just marginal, but still like 80 Celsius for wets. It's like slightly on the overheating side, but not really overheating yet. Tax write-off, potentially. I'm gonna quickly check the race start, because that was a bit of carnage. 35 Celsius in Berlin, that's rough. We had like 30 max during the day here, but then the weather front came and cooled down stuff a little bit. Here I got the wrong line, or like I don't know where one is supposed to be, like it said out of line, so but when you don't have any indicators, how do you know where to put the car? And then it showed out of line, and I reacted by releasing the pit limiter, so luckily there was enough time for me to still slow down and not get a jump start. Unlucky. I think he might be run into the battery clipping, so he filled up his battery. He didn't burn it off here, then he started braking. Then the battery went fully on, or like the regen stopped, and the rear just snapped. And I was looking in the mirror and praying that the gap wouldn't become dangerously close, but yeah, he didn't. So this guy was on slicks. A bit of lack of grip, but not too slow. Anyway, I have to register for the next one. Mustn't miss it. Back to online, intermediate. We have 2 minutes to go. Alright. Register. GTE, continue. Ferrari. I kind of like the blue livery. We have David in the Porsche. And then let me check the DR gain. Thank you for the GGs. Have I shared my SimuCube profile online? I think I did once. I mean, I can quickly open it after this. 0.6. Alright, well, I guess. Wait, that's... Wait, what? Is this the correct race? Lion's Roar. Have I clicked the wrong one before? Yeah, I clicked the Sebring one, I think. Okay. Why is this back to online button not here as well? Alright, so 40 seconds to go, so no time for practice, but I have time to quickly go to calibrate and put this to vehicle set, because on the GTs I prefer it to be well, selected by the vehicle, but on the hypercars I use more. And I'll decrease this a little bit, because I increased it for the hypercar, which normally has a bit less FFB, and especially in the rain it has less. David is DRG2 as well. Right. Well, join event. Profiles. Ah, now it's gonna decrease my... Yeah, I have that program which adjusts the color for the evening conditions for the eyes. I hope it's still visible. I mean, nothing special, you know. This bottom stuff, I don't even know what it does. This filter is disabled. I use it sometimes for the curbs to filter them out if they are too aggressive. This one is important not to have it off because then it does weird stuff, but if you put it to max then it's gonna have input lag, I think, or like output lag. And this is just like there to kind of prevent it from infinitely spinning. Okay. Let me find my setup. There GTQ load. Maybe a bit less fuel. Because it's gonna be... Wait, 6 minutes. I think it was 15-minute quali for special event. Anyway. Let me adjust the camera position a bit. Oh, that's super bright. Is the track wet? Nope. Just looks extremely bright. In WEC they start with full battery so they cannot break. I mean, if you have full battery, then you cannot regenerate. I mean, I assume that's how it is in real life as well. So I guess they don't really start in WEC with full battery, but they drain it a little bit, so that into turn 1 they have 95% after the braking stops. I mean, they can empty it on the outlap. Why is the image so bright? Like, it looks like as if the auto exposure was wrong. Nice lockup. I will have to adjust my brain a little bit. Here goes the quali. And now the game is out of focus. Now it's back into focus. Wait, is the quali private in this session? I guess it is. No, but it's broken, like the lighting is broken. This is extremely bright. How does it look on the stream? Yeah, it you can only see white track, right? Yeah, that's not ideal. But it's not much different for me. Like, it's ridiculous. Maybe let me try adjust the gain. Yeah, that should be better. Yeah. Is this heaven? Great question. I don't know what kind of bug it... I mean, it's not real road bug, because even the grass is like extremely bright. Like the sky is just... into this direction is just like white, into that direction it was cloudy. At least it's possible to see the curbs and stuff, but looks a bit very off. I had that bug only at Spa before, never at Imola. Well, have to report it after the stream. It's the atomic bomb conditions, right? So I will have 3 laps, I think. I hope. Should have 3 attempts. Fuel is fine. Looks like Assetto Corsa. Yeah, I had issues like that. I tried when AC launched on low fuel motorsports. I tried to set it up so I could drive, but it never looked nice. Like it was always too dark or too bright. I remember now this setup being quite oversteery. Great grip, but I have to manage the rear slip. Weird lockup. Don't give me a cut. Is the track cold or what? It is quite cold. That's why it's locking up. Well, no purple sectors yet. But the balance is alright. You had this bug on every track, Yankash. Okay. Unlucky. I had it at Spa, but it always resolved after a couple of escapes. A bit too early apex and too early exit, and then I was struggling to get the rotation done. But this is better. This is not better. Ay, 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 ay. I was gaining half a second. Okay, one more attempt. The tires are not too cooked, and the pace should be there. I pushed it a little bit too much. Maybe with a round wheel rim I could hold it, but I needed to like hold it in a different place and cannot really do it in an F1 or like prototype style steering wheel. Okay, well, last try. Don't give me cut, don't give me a cut. Thank you. Purple sector 1, very nice. Full push, let's go. Still a bit too much on the limit or over the limit. Okay, looking good. Need to survive just 2 more corners. Yeah, the grip is so much better now. Tires are slowly heating up because the temperatures are so low. Okay, well, 2.5-ish fuel usage. So what is that for the race? 25 times 60. And then we're going to do 96, I suppose, race pace. That's 16 laps times 2.5, 40 liters. Was it really 2.5? Keep forgetting. Let's check in Motec. Yeah, 2.5. I leaked my VEC times for a second. I mean, it's not like it matters really. Take 2 liters safety margin. Oh no, I out-qualified an LMP2. Alright. So, Yankesh, supposedly G-Sync doesn't work with overlays. Where did that guy disappear? Like, I noticed with Tiny Pedal that there was some... like, there was a little bit of lagging, or like stuttering. And then I've read that and heard that you cannot really use overlays with G-Sync and stuff. Kind of makes sense. Okay, now survival mode for turn 1. This is always like, I mean, there... Pass? What? Pass slow car ahead. There was no slow car ahead. Ooh, what is that guy doing? Was that David behind? Now what's the chance of all the LMP2s surviving ahead? I'm taking the inside. I would like to see more cars ahead of me, but I have limited, like 13 visible vehicles. A spinning LMP2. Another spinning LMP2. Oof. Still alive. Just lost 1 position. There is an angry flock of LMP2s behind, and they're all going into the gravel. I'm gonna end up P1 overall, yes. Perhaps. Nice dive bump. Would be fun if he got an illegal overtake for that. I don't think you get illegal overtakes for passing slower class. he's around. I will require a little bit of glucose for my diabetes. Took slightly too much insulin, I guess. Nothing crazy. Opala. That's crazier. Funny story, I had a hypoglycemia in my Le Mans virtual last stint of Bahrain. How much of that front left did I lose there? Ah, not too much. I mean, it's at the same time it's like terrible racing, but on the other hand I kind of like these survival fests. And there we have another LMP2. So we are P8 overall. Meaning that more than half of LMP2s are behind me. It's quite an achievement. Well, not for me, but for them. And that's before it starts to rain. It's, well, yeah, I had the diabetes from, well, 2013? A type 1 though, so, I mean, it's not attack, it's just, I mean, I have to give myself insulin because I'm not producing it automatically, which means that sometimes, I mean, actually in sim racing, I've had a remarkably little amount of low blood sugars. It's just that like when physically active it's a lot easier to burn the calories and the body needs a lot less insulin. And then sometimes I get tricked. Like I have constant monitoring so I can see exact number of millimoles per liter. And I can see if I'm getting out of the optimal range. And I got actually quite surprised because just before stream I was going a little bit too high. And now suddenly it's going down quite sharply. So luckily I caught it. It's not like, I mean, it's not really dangerous at all. In the worst case, I could get, well, slightly slower reflexes or like, it's just feeling of being very, very hungry. So like low on energy. But if I gave myself way too much insulin, then it could be dangerous, of course. But I was actually thinking, like, it's I have the sensor on my arm. Well, it's sometimes visible on the stream. I have too long, what's it called, sleeve? Like on this, let me get high speed, like on this arm, like this white stuff. It's visible often on my streams. So if you wonder why that is, that's the glucose monitor. So it goes with Bluetooth constantly to my phone. And I was thinking of how to put that monitoring to my steering wheel or to my secondary monitor, so I would not need to have the phone opened all the time, and that it would be easier if it was just a number there. I would need some programming skills. Apple AirTag in the arm. If I lose my arm, I can find it easier. It's 14 days on one arm and then 14 days on the other, so I'm rotating it. In the meanwhile, I'm slowly starting to catch up on that Ferrari. And where is David? I wonder what is this LMP2 doing? Well, multi-class racing is not easy. You need to know what the GTE head will do speed-wise at the apex. So for people doing this for the first time, it's perfectly understandable that it's tricky. But I think David got some issue with the start. Yeah, he was the Golf livered Porsche behind that was somehow suddenly doing way too high speed. And I don't know, with such a big top speed or like such a high speed differential before it went green, maybe the game just disqualified him. Here comes the rain to spice things up further, but I think it's just gonna be drizzle at max, so no point, we will need wets. But it should get quite wet. Like 5 seconds of pace, let's say. For now, just enough of raindrops in the windshield so that everyone starts to panic and starts braking earlier and blaming the bad car balance or moments of understeer and oversteer on the rain, even though for now the rain has zero effect. But P1 is doing a solid pace. Another P2 in the wall. It's not easy to overtake here. I remember in that VC weekly event, or was it a special event? No, it was Sebring that was special event, and then Imola was a weekly event, previous week. I remember struggling to overtake a Corvette. It was Daniele in the Corvette, and I just could not get past. But maybe it's gonna be easier to get past the same car, because the Corvette just had massive top speed. Ooh, lock up. He will get a better exit. Actually not. I saw him getting a little bit of wheel spin, so I stayed on extremely left. Well, here we get a position for free, and now we're leading. But I feel for him so much, because I have done that so many times in LMU. Being like in the lead or like in a good position, and then having a massive lockup and losing the position. I do feel like that iRacing comparison is kind of on point for LMU sometimes. I watched that highlights from F3 and F2 from Monza, and at some point there were like people locking up like crazy into turn 1. And they still stopped the car, like the car didn't go straight on. Eventually the lockup was resolved. Well, they went straight on, but not like in the grass. They missed the turn 2 apex of Monza first chicane. But it wasn't anything crazy. But here in LMU you kind of lock up and it's kind of done for that corner. Worse on some cars, easier on other cars, but it's closer to iRacing than to RF2 when it comes to lockups. But it's wiper time. Suppose it's still drizzle, yeah, drizzle and damp. Ferrari went into the gravel. I think this is the exactly same weather as we had at Portimao last week. LMP2 coming around the outside. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Okay. I didn't think I braked that late, but if I broke 1 meter later I would be in his rear. And that was actually for the overall P7. Let's see if some people get tricked into boxing for wets. But at Portimao previous week it became quite wet. It was quite tricky. But never tricky enough to have to box. Well, another reminder from the LMP2 driver ahead to move the brake bias a bit more to the rear. Yeah, here we have it. I didn't move it enough. Losing P1. Nah, I have enough of a delta behind. I saw him lock up and I said to myself, well, I did move the brake bias a little bit and I will not fully attack the brakes. So I should be fine. Next moment I'm locking up, going straight into the gravel. Now that's a P6 overall, well P7 now. LMP2s become quite tricky, I imagine, in this situation. Especially if in this open setup event they run kind of stiff springs. What's that, some end plate of a splitter? He's around again. Don't reverse, thank you. And I'm P6 overall. That's fun. Ooh. Why was I in first gear? I don't know why this is happening. Luckily I can afford these mistakes, but for so many races I said to myself, that's the last time I lock up out of the lead, but I keep locking up. 46 brake bias, let's see how that goes. It isn't a huge lockup, I didn't even lose front left percentage. I mean, it's wet, so it should scrub the tire less naturally when you lock up. The rain stopped. Oh well, the forecast was that the fourth of the 5 time slots was about to be drizzly, but the last one a bit dry. I lost so much grip on the front left with that lockup both times. It's like iRacing, and iRacing is way more extreme than real life when it comes to lockups. To small lockups, like full lockup in real life is very violent, for sure, on any car when you don't have ABS available. And yeah, it's requiring 40, well, let's see now. A bit of lockup, but now it didn't go into the full crazy values. So I could actually make the corner. Yeah, I hope that, I mean, they are all aware. I'm complaining many times in the feedback chats. They are aware of lockups sometimes being a bit over the board, I think, I hope. And then requiring 46 brake bias, it's like iRacing. I mean, I don't have much experience, but I did some quite high-profile events. That 10-hour race with the Cadillac DPI, when it rained, was quite an eye-opener. Where I needed like 43 front brake bias, because rear just didn't lock up. Front locked up immediately. And if front locked up, that was basically your straight line trajectory to the next wall. Well, LMU is not that bad, you can unlock, but it's still way more violent at smaller lock values than it should be. Well, the headlight flashed me out of the apex successfully. Although that was for a position, why is he doing that? I mean, it's multi-class, so of course he can flash me to move over, because we are not really fighting among each other. But I see everyone is locking up so much. I'm gonna go to 45. That's perfect. 45.0. Nice rejoin. I need to be careful with that 45. It's fine now that the grip level is low because of the rain, but it's not really that wet. It's drying quite quickly, so I must not leave it there. Yeah, that was full rear lock-up now. And it's just like iRacing. If the rear locks up, the RPM drops a little bit. It becomes a little bit unstable, but it's not as violent as or as dramatic as if the front locks up. Yeah. And to see everybody around me struggling, even though ABS low is allowed, I think, in intermediate events, means quite something. No, but 46 is probably the limit. I was locking up the rear, or on the verge of locking up the rear into every corner. I put it to 47 and just survive with that. I have enough of a gap and safety margin to P2 anyway. And fuel is fine, so I can just nurse the car home. Do we have enough gap to actually make this lap the last? It depends on LMPs anyway. Where is the leader of LMP? Let's use the track map. I see P2. Where is P1? Yes, P1 is now braking for the last two corners. Yeah, this is 100% the last lap then. Although it was marginal. Wait, where exactly is... Nice understeer. Where exactly is the start-finish line? It's quite early on the straight. The P1 disappeared. So that means that he finished the race, so this is indeed the final lap. David exited the server. I wonder where David finished in the end. Well, before. Although I don't know how much I can trust Tiny Pedal now, when people are leaving the server already after having finished the race. Okay, well, that was a fun one, but quite a chaotic one. And Mr. Demet in P2 had quite a nice pace. Wait, did I cross the line? I did, right? Yeah, because the timer is... Yeah, in RF2 the finish line was very late. So it's tricking me. P6 overall. In multi-class with 33 cars. Okay. So many DNF'd LMP2s. It's crazy. Alright. Yeah, we'll need a little bit more of food. Thank you, Domi. I'm quite happy with that Ferrari setup. I mean, all I did was to just put softest springs. And it's gripping beautifully. And I think, yeah, minimum front right height, softest springs to eat up the curbs very nicely at Imola. And then I think I put quite low rear right height. 3.4. I stole a lot of DR from David. Oh, David must have lost a lot. He was P4, so he probably didn't lose that much. He's still gold too. Alright. Wait, I have 3 more minutes. These intermediate races are flying. So, well, now I thought of trying the winged Peugeot. Wait, which one is winged? Is this one? Wait, yeah, this one has a little... This is so, like, it's not clear. Like, this one doesn't have the wing. And this one has the wing. And I'm above the list, but not in the list. Hello? I mean, it's probably fine. But still, I would like to see myself actually... there we go. 2 minutes to go. Yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm gonna leave you with some nice music that I have finally adjusted here in the OBS. Be right back. Okay, we are back. So, thank you for the GGs. I'm not afraid of copyright because this is copyright free. So, well, I mean, supposedly it's copyright free. I got told by people that are in the know that I can use this without an issue, so I'm using it. Meanwhile, the LMU UI music is getting copyright strikes, so that's why I have it off. So let's see. Why is it dark now? Ah, I have to adjust for the bug. It's not bugged now, so make it less dark. Sorry to the guy who had to crash me to exit a bit. Should be better. Actually, let me check. So forecast, it's a bit less rainy than in the previous one. I'll take the same settings as with the old Peugeot. Wait, is this wet or is it slicks? When it loads. There we go. Slightly wet. Yeah, this is wet. But in the practice for the previous race that I did here, it was extremely wet, or like very wet, I think. So let's see how this is going. As far as I understand, the conditions in LMU are never like copy-paste. It can always be a bit different from race to race. And I don't need the copyright-free music anymore. The TC cannot decide what to do. Wait, 4 and 1. Yeah, it's this is the new Peugeot now. On the new Peugeot. Now the camera position reset. Yeah, this is max forward I can go. On the new Peugeot, on the normal tracks, like medium downforce tracks, the ARBs are 2 front and 1 rear normally, but now it's 4 front, 1 rear. And that's probably because it's high downforce setup. Well, I will only really know the balance on my quali lap going through the Porsche car, so... But on the setups that I do, I normally have 2 front and then like 1 to 3 rear on this car. Okay. Waiting for quali session. Here we go. Another single lap quali. With wets, right? Wet, yes. It's wetter than before now. Well, meanwhile, I hope that James Baldwin is having good fun with LMU. Well, I should have probably noticed that he's gonna stream it and just do beginner races and race with him. That would have been a bit better, perhaps. But oh well. The brake bias. Hey Ramon, schedule for the weekly races. Well, there is no like a great place where you could really see like every single race. But you can see for weekly and for the special events in the LMU Discord. You either type schedule into a random chat and the bot will immediately serve you with the link to the online status. Or you can go like in LMU Discord at the top to like what is it called? Like the setting where you select which channels in a Discord you want to see and not want to see, and you will see like it's called online status, and there you have each week all the races. Although for the intermediate, well, beginner, intermediate and advanced, it just says like once per 1 hour, or like in the afternoons once per 45 minutes. These and these combinations. And then for weekly races, it's specified like each race at what time it happens. And I really don't know why they don't make that visible in the... Oh, don't go into the wall there. Don't make it visible in the actual LMU in-game HUD or like UI. That would be much better, but, well, maybe at some point. Yeah, there is a schedule for the daily races, yeah, but for weekly and special events there is no schedule in-game. So you can only go through the Discord. Alright, the one and only hot lap. Front is biting a bit less compared to the old Peugeot. Or maybe the rear is just adding so much more downforce. But it almost feels understeery in some places. It will be fun checking back to back with the previous race on the old Peugeot and this race on the new Peugeot, although the conditions are not exactly the same, so it will not be one-to-one. but it's a lot easier to exit corners and put down the power with the new Peugeot. Like less wheel spin initially, and then of course, well, I mean, it's better to have the front wheel drive turn on at 150 to get extra pull, but the balance on that is quite understeery, so it's more difficult to manage. So it just feels smoother with the new car. Someone stole sector 2 from me. Interesting. Hi Andy. P10 what? Andy, did you see the Imola auto exposure bug on my previous race? Well, I'm P10, but I don't have a lap time yet. Or are you unhappy with me using tiny pedal overlay instead of relying solely on the LMU overlay or LMU HUD? Oof, almost lost it. Anyway, well, not P10 anymore. It's very hard to reproduce consistently. Oh no. Can I send you any files to help with that? What did I want to do? Well, I need to calculate the fuel, of course. Hello. 22 times 60, and the fuel will be... It burns less than the old Peugeot. Interesting. Probably 6 lap. I'm gonna fill up for 7 just in case. With 50 liters. Now let's see the forecast. Some people already on softs. You prefer race laps overlays? I have not checked them yet. I just wanted something very like minimalistic. But maybe... No, for sure it doesn't go too greatly together with the LMU HUD styling wise. But it kind of does the job. So we have 2 guys on softs. It's gonna be a dry race. How wet is it? Wet. I mean, it's exactly the same as before. If I take slicks, I'm gonna die. Or like lose 15 or 20 seconds before it gets dry enough. So I'm just starting on the wets. Alright. High liminal. Ah, Michi uses race laps, yeah. Yeah, Michi does go overboard for my taste. I mean, like, the styling and everything, like, I can adjust it, like, the colors and sizes and stuff. So I can make it look a lot more like the one on the left side. OBS browser widgets. Are you sure you cannot do that on Tiny Pedal? Like yesterday I have scrolled through the whole 38 pages of Tiny Pedal on Studio 397 forum. I mean, I have not read through all, but I just like quickly picked at some posts because I was searching for some info. And I think somebody mentioned something about OBS, and then there were responses about how to put it to OBS. I don't know. Anyway, let's not jump start again. So I kind of need to be in the middle of the road here and in the right lane. It's green. There is always a guy on the outside or like on the right side into turn 1 overshooting the braking point. Ooh, yo. Well, I guess that's the reason why the default anti-roll bar on the front is 4. Now I'm scared. Put it back to 4. Keep it stable. And we again have some people on softs here with AA. Now would be nice to see which car is with the old Peugeot and which car is with the new Peugeot. But it's all Peugeots, so even if I displayed the vehicle brand logo, it would still be just the Peugeot logo. Copy bit. Jesper, you found something in the Mac. I'm all ears. Although I guess I'll be all ears after the stream. Well, that's a good finding. What about point 4? And how do you... I mean, is that the only thing you found out? Or is there something else that you clicked to balance that click? I mean, it's probably better we talk afterwards, right? Meanwhile, yes, but you can enjoy this beautiful hypercar balance. Even in the wet, it's still like you apply the brakes and it stops. And it does corners at kind of high speed. It feels alright. Ah, you did. You found something by just thinking of it. Well, R Factor 2 setup job can sometimes be like that. No need for Motec. Hi David. Joao, well, depends on what pace you're doing. But with Jesper we are preparing to be in top 5, battling heavily to get onto the podium. And getting absolutely destroyed by a couple of BMW teams. So the sun is out, the track is drying, but it's still quite wet. That's strange, like there is no spray. And here there is no spray either. Now here there is a bit of spray sometimes. This is so weird. Like the whole drying up physics is so weird in LMU. Someone needs to go to the environmental evaporation line and divide it by 1000. Because there is no spray, but I can see the track being kind of reflective and quite kind of wet, and then the wets are still like in the perfect temperature window for wets. You did a few races in the wingless bug. I did as well. Well, I did one. And driving the car now here, well, the balance is kind of the same. You cannot really feel a difference, except for the four-wheel drive missing. Although I will check Motec later, but it feels like the pace could be slightly weaker. Yeah, ooh, felt a lockup. About the BMW in VC, well, Jimmy did write about BOPing the car, and then half of the field has taken the car. So yeah, as Jesper says, well, let's see what happens in quali. The DC is trolling me. Like it's on max sleep and max DC, and it's still kind of activating and deactivating, and then I'm reacting to that on the steering wheel and feeling like I have no idea what the car is doing. Meanwhile, P2 is closing in on me. The first slick runner is falling down the order again. Why do I get a snap in that king every lap? Nowhere else to that extent, just in that flat out king, which is, well, not flat out, in the wet. I don't know what Murguli was doing. I saw BMW runners doing low 17s and I got scared. Well, Jesper, how... yeah, you cannot outperform the car if there is no reference, right? Camber, Andy, what can I do about the camber? Well, Jesper, I don't think we are that... I don't think the McLaren is that much of pace that you would need to go so massively slower to get a better BOP next time. And yeah, well, test race was for sure a carnage. Well, I have improved the stability of... I mean, we have improved the stability of our McLaren quite a lot. So we should be a lot more stable and more likely to finish the race. And I have missed the apex already, before even reaching the proper turn. Fortin Zero quali. Well, if 14 Zero quali is this year, then we are more than half a second of pace. Maybe the conditions were different. Ui, ui, ui. Little bit of a rear wobble. Hi Rasmus, long time no see. French Spaceship is currently my favorite car in game of the hypercars. The new one, the 24 one. But not in the default fixed setup conditions. Although it's alright. The more I drive this car, the more it feels like that the 23 Peugeot is more balanced for these conditions. In lap 1 it felt the other way around, but now I'm kind of... like it grips and sticks or like alright, but then at some point it just snaps. Yeah, this corner again, I'm just lifting through it. Seems like I have just enough pace to keep safe distance to P2. Yeah, I really wonder what exactly is changed between 23 to 24 version in the game. Because the 23 version is for sure slower in the corners, in the dry. But in some conditions it's extremely fast. I mean, yeah, when the traction is issue, then that four-wheel drive at 150 kph is unbeatable. And then with the good top speed performance of the 23 Peugeot and with very weak slipstream in this game, It's really good for conditions like this, where you can qualify well in the wet and then just keep it ahead. But I will need to check after the race who is in one Peugeot and who is in the other Peugeot. Well, I've been focusing on RF2 this week as well. But then I saw the combinations for the daily races in LMU, and I thought, well, this is gonna be fun. Is that a cut? It's not a cut, interesting. Not even a calculation. That's a cut. Alright. Rasmus, are you in Division 1? I didn't really have time to properly check the sign-ups. And yeah, Joao, for sure, that would be quite unfortunate. I got completely taken by surprise in the test event. Suddenly, no of my braking points worked. You have Sergio. Oh, that's weird. That's quite weird. Because he for sure has top 10 pace for Division 1. But well, I guess you can be promoted from Division 2 to Division 1 after 2 races, right? I hope it still works like that. So I could see you soon on track there. If you guys are, well, having good enough results. Come on! Completely zero grip. I was on in second gear though, so probably I should have shifted to first. Tricky. Almost lost the rear and then almost locked up dramatically. Luckily I just missed the apex by 1 meter. Jimmy license system, oh yes. Well, I guess he wants people to prove to him that they are ready to race multi-class races. Although if you have a bit of brain, then it's not really difficult to be safe in multi-class races. So heading into the last lap, the gap to P5, who is the same guy as 1 hour and a half ago. In this exact event where he was on slicks is exactly the same, so 20 seconds, 21 seconds. So if I can take that as a measure, then it means that the BOP between both Peugeots is good at Le Mans in these conditions. And it's drying up very, very slowly, like much more slow than what I expected. Tires are not overheating, the sector times are still improving. I can still outbrake myself and survive the corner. Are there already promotions after the first round in VEC? I guess it's 2 rounds, no? But oh well. I hope you guys advanced fast, although that means that some other team will have to drop down from 1 to 2, which is painful for them. Each 2 rounds. Alright, William. Yeah, it makes sense that it's per 2 rounds, because 1 round can just be unlucky and you can just get crashed out and score 0 points for no fault of your own. And then to have 2 races like that in succession is much more improbable. After first, third... okay. Oh well, I mean... I'm gonna let Jimmy do the Jimmy things. It will be so weird driving VEC in RF2 after the LMU GT3s are released. So then we will be racing GT3s, LMP2s and the modded hypercars on RF2 Le Mans, and at the same time we will race most of that stuff in LMU. I hope it will not mess up my brain too much. Anyway, for one last time over the start-finish line, and it's the 3rd win. I wanted to check who was in each car, maybe at the start. So 2 of new Peugeots, maybe a bit more forward so people are actually greeted. 2 new Peugeots and then mostly old Peugeots. Ah, okay. What happened there? Ooh. Oh no. I mean, he wiggled a little bit. Rear left caught up on the grass. Bonk. I think the damage is disabled in the formation, right? Or is there damage? I think I've read that it's disabled. Anyway. slowed this one and this one. So this is the old Peugeot, this is the new Peugeot. So in the old one, I don't know if it's possible to see it, but 47.3, 42.3, 42.2, 44.0, 41.6, 41.5. The new one, in the new one I was slower. Consistently slower. Like 7/10. That's interesting. Another thing I can check is, where is it? Weather. To be honest, in the first race, the wetness decreased faster, so that can easily be the reason for that. It went from wet to slightly wet. Yeah, like 3.5 minutes earlier. That can make a difference, I suppose. Baguette car. Well, I like the baguette car. Although I have driven it quite a lot recently. I'm a bit unhappy with my Sebring setup, so maybe for Monza, if I do the special event, it will require a little bit of time. If I do this special event on Sunday... Wait, what? Oh, it's weekly. This one doesn't disappear. No, it disappeared. Okay. I might do this one on Sunday. And then after that, maybe switch to some other hypercar. I would really like to make a setup for the BMW and drive it a little bit. It's kind of nice. Now I am thinking of doing one more of this. Should I do it? 39 minutes. Well, let's do it. Ferrari. And then go back to the event history and check this. I need to check that video by Andonowski. Should be a good one. Look, I over P2. Yeah, of course. Nice pace there. Like I tried pushing a bit at some points, but I was just not comfortable with it. Oh, we have 2 Slovenians on the podium. I didn't even pay attention to that. Marcus, first time driving hyper in wets. Yes, it's slightly tricky because of the lockups. Just need to put the brake bias a bit to the rear and then judge it. Like I don't know how really to learn how to do it. Like mostly the brakes in the wet are still very powerful. Always you can brake later than expected, but also you can lock up easier than expected. But to my experience, like you start losing a lot of lateral grip and you really struggle with the fronts to make a corner, but on the brakes you can still kind of press them quite hard. Yeah, you have to be reasonable under braking. Well, I mean, yes, for sure. And always paying attention to the brake bias and the wetness, because the lower the grip is, the more you have to put it to the rear to avoid the lockups. You started playing LMU because of me. Well, glad to hear that you are enjoying it. Porsche curves are tricky. Especially because the default setups are kind of stable, and then at some point you just lose the front performance because it's not turning enough. But if you make it in the open setup races to turn enough, then you sometimes can drop the rear. So the aero balance is very, very marginal or very tricky to balance. Let's put the settings back to what I use for GTEs normally. And let's see if there is still yeah, there is still the bug. It's so bright. Well, there we go again. Down with brightness, down with gain. Hope it's gonna be fine. Oh, the exposure fixed itself. Well, all right, Luca. Well, yeah, I almost went off twice in the Indianapolis kink because I tried braking a bit later. But yeah, thank you. Good night. Copy, Dave. Yeah, normally it fixes itself, but didn't fix before. So now probably on my stream it's too dark. Ah, it's alright. Oh, it's raining. Alright. I wasn't paying attention to the quali weather forecast. Because I guess I just saw a cloud without raindrops, but looks like... Did it rain 1 hour ago when I did this event? I don't know, it didn't, it for sure didn't. Well, now the tires will struggle even more to get any temperature. But if it keeps raining like this, then the first lap could count despite temperatures being low, so I need to push. I see, Dave. Yeah, probably it's set to like 50% chance or 75% chance, which is nice so that it's not always exactly the same. Oof. Ay, 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 ay. Ah, lost a lot of time there. And the rain stopped, okay. Alright, well then first lap will not count anyway. I mean, the tires are still heating up. So the next 2 laps will count much more than the first one. Still understeering there a little bit in 3rd gear. That chat is annoying. Popping out straight in the middle of an apex. Oh no. I didn't gain any time by that, interesting. I mean, I didn't lose any time. Well, that almost felt like I pulled a handbrake, but that's the balance of the car in that hairpin. That was on the limit. And that was over the limit. Looks like it's gonna be me versus LMP2s again. Well, previous race I was P6 overall, only 5 LMP2s ahead, so maybe my goal is to get into top 5 overall. Let's see. Would be fun racing against Baldwin in the beginner events. Why is this guy on wet? Well, Dan is doing a great job. There should be some more rain in the beginner races as well. Podium overall, okay. Copy Ankesh. Well, I'll try. We had quite some DNFs in the previous race. Well, we had 33 people in the previous race. Now we only have 24, so maybe it's gonna be easier. Let's check. How much fuel did I take the last time? $42. Alright. I have softs, that's fine. And let's go. What's the chance of me being collected in a big crash this time? I marginally avoided it last time, so there will be crashes. Pass slow car ahead. Well, nice. Oh, there is rain in beginner as well. Okay. It would be so nice if it was possible to see that. But it just randomly opens some weather forecasts in the main page of online, so cannot really know. Anyway, we're racing. First gear in the LMP2s is so long that GTE pulls better. So I cover the inside. Board is already flying. People are already crashing and spinning, and there is smoke. I'm still alive. I mean, I don't plan to like actually battle against them because there is no chance, but if I just stay behind them, then P2 is gonna overtake me. They have been a lot cleaner this race, the LMP2s. You guys think that people generally like dry more than wet? Is he gonna go on throttle and crash me? Luckily no. The guy actually reversed instead of putting first gear. That's very nice to see. Is he staying behind or what? Oh no. Nice lockup. Why did it lock up so much? It was crazy. I didn't really smash the brake. I mean, the trace here will tell its story, but I don't remember really going hard on the brake. Anyway, all good. Well, I lost the overall P10, but I'm still in the GTE lead, which is nice. Well, Andy, that's tough. For this week, I decided I will not race if it's not raining. And I was looking forward to Virtual Endurance Championship Spa race on Saturday being wet, and it was forecasted to be wet. But today things changed and now it's like sunny and I'm disappointed. It's gonna be 8 hours of dry running with what is happening there. 8 hours of dry running without a single drop of rain. Well, Jesper, I'm sure that we would get you into advanced if there were 3-lap races. Like 1 minute practice, or like maybe 3-minute practice so people join, then single lap quali, and then 3-lap race. No, I think the scheduling this week is perfect in intermediate, because there has not been too much of waiting, like 2 minutes each time. So it worked perfectly well. Yes, per hypercars are fine. Maybe the default setups are broken sometimes. But let me send you my Peugeot setup for Monza, and we do the special event or like the weekly race on Sunday evening at Monza, and you will have brakes, you will have rotation. You won't need to manage the battery. I'll just leave you with the perfect kilowatt number, and you will get convinced. Well, probably not, but I'm trying. Why is my car pushing so much off there? 5-hour stint. Oof. I mean, I did 5-hour stint in the past, but it was at Le Mans. And at Le Mans it's a lot easier than at Spa. I mean, the Jimmy pit stops are long enough to allow for toilet and stuff, because the tires supposedly need 38 seconds to be changed. Where is all the LMP2 carnage? They're all driving so cleanly this time. Good for them. But this car drives remarkably similar to the RF2 McLaren GT3. I kind of need to do similar things. Yeah, it would be just, I mean, it gives strategy, although that's again questionable because hards. Well, I don't think anybody is able to double stint hards with whatever pit stop time. Like, you need to drive so slow. If tire change was like 60 seconds, then maybe it would be better to just take hards and cruise around like second and a half of pace. Although that's still 48 times 1.5. No, actually, like, the tire change should be like 80 seconds. There you go. Then it would be worth changing. So it should be like here in LMU, 12 seconds. But I mean, it's nice that you have like 70 seconds full pit stop, so you can go refill the water bottle or go to toilet or go get some food if necessary. Just like get a little bit of a stretch. Ah, yeah, the hard tire. Yeah, that's interesting option though, yeah. It depends on how much the tires can survive. For Spa, it's basically just a single stint, right? Let's see if anybody's able to make anything else work than single stint medium. Although LMP2 tires, well, they used to be a bit better. I remember LMVS, we did double stint in most tracks. But maybe they changed the wear after that. Yeah, Spa is doubles, yeah, I remember that. I keep doing this same mistake. It feels like there is enough grip, and then I start turning in and it feels like the rear will snap. But sometime I regain the grip, but then the front doesn't want to bite as much. I mean, it's damp, so I cannot expect the tires to work flawlessly. But this race is so much different than the previous one. Like the previous Imola multiclass 1 hour ago. There is absolutely nothing going on ahead or behind. And 1 hour ago it was carnage ahead and behind. I'm not even going to be top 10 overall. What a disappointment. The only drama that is going on is this corner for me. Just cannot do it, I don't know. Well, I'll brake late, I'll brake earlier and then it will be fine, but I don't know why that corner specifically is such a struggle. Where is my TC? I cannot make it higher than 8 and 8. And it was not even activating again. Well, I put it to 3, but... well, let's see. Now I'm locking up. Any specific reason for removing the throttle trace of the wheel screen? Well, I don't know, I put it on the main monitor as like a graph because it kind of looks like it's more visible. There's a little bit more information in it, and on the steering wheel you're kind of like I'm rotating the wheel, and then the throttle trace is this or this, like depending on the corner, and it's not really possible to see it clearly. But if it's on monitor, then you guys can kind of see it better, and I can even look at it after the corner and observe something if I want to. In the freezer, that's an interesting question. Well, I mean, generally you develop a lot faster if you have a coach with anything. If not for other things, then at least like to guide you or to teach you how the setups work or what the tires require or how to fix a bug or how to set up the system and so on. Well, if Jesper, my dear teammate, is still in the chat, maybe he can answer more because he was a coach for some time. And he was coaching some fast people. Well, but I mean, it's difficult to like find a coach, and then again, people with a lot of money can, well, afford whatever. But then, if you have some budget, then you are better off getting better equipment than driving on some entry-level stuff and having a coach to some extent. But of course it depends on in which point of your sim racing path you are. If you are absolute beginner, then it's very, very difficult to quickly learn all aspects, software, hardware, driving, strategies. Yeah, exactly, as Jesper says. Meanwhile, there is no more rain, and there should be like 4 laps to go. I've done way too much driving today. Come on, acque minerale. I mean, I'm quite thirsty. but still. No need to spin there. Actually, let me have some non-mineral water. Didn't work. What was my brake bias? I went to 45 in previous race here, but then I went back to 46 or 47. I think 46.5 should do the job in these conditions. Nah, it's a skill issue. Cannot blame the car. Or a focus issue. I've been driving or preparing for a VEC earlier. I was looking at the screen for some hours, also doing the stream stuff to put these new scenes on. And I should probably spend some more time looking at something else than a monitor. But anyway, I'll be looking at some nice food in 10 minutes, so that's alright. I don't know what I need a coach. Jesper, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I don't know. I mean, no, it's the blood sugar is fine. And for a proof, actually show it. I don't know if the color is fine or not, but then ooh, big lock up ahead. I mean, I would need to explain everything that was on the screen anyway, probably. Jesper, yes, I will turn last next lap around. Tom, yes, type 1. Since 11 years. Alright, Tom. Yeah, there is actually, like, I mean, most of diabetics are type 2, so related to old age and wrong lifestyle and sometimes genetics. The type 1s are quite rare, but still there is quite some of them. I turned less and now I turned more as a consequence of turning less. Maybe the track is just more damp than previous time. Yeah, Tom, exactly, for sure. I had to like use that finger prick tool to measure my blood sugar like 6 or 7 times per day until like 4 years ago, when finally I got the sensor that monitors the glucose constantly. And that was a challenge during the races. So I always tended to like eat too much to avoid any low blood sugar, and then it ended up always with hyperglycemia, or whatever it's pronounced, hyperglycemia, to high sugars. which is not that terrible in the short run, but if you're doing endurance races, that means that, well, you are using up water for sweating already, but then you need extra water because you're thirsty like crazy due to the high blood sugars, and then you need to go to toilet, and you cannot really go to toilet if you're in the middle of a stint. But now with constant monitoring, I'm much more confident. And also for like high level esports, it's tricky to always have something in the back of the head. Just need to like constantly shut down that part of the brain that keeps telling you, well, maybe your blood sugar is going down or up, or maybe it's already way too low and you should eat something, but you have to think of esports and of racing. I can park the car and cross the line. Come on. There you go. What? Oh no! Where is the line? Oh no. Well, that's awkward. Time was 0. What happened there? Well, push, push, push. I saw I have 8 seconds gap, but I just have 5 seconds of race to go. Looking forward to the replay. Finally a nice Aqua Minerale, a nice wobble for the yellow Ferrari. Big send. Is that a cut? Nope. Ah, what? Why did I have to do that? Okay. All is good. Nothing happened. So we easily crossed the line in P1 to take the checkered flag. But that was the line, or is it the line here? I don't know. Thought the line was earlier. Just a little bit of action for the last lap of my streaming. So this must be the line, right? Yeah, now I don't have the timing. I guess I would need to check the stream. So let's... The guy is waving... Is that... But that animation is probably broken. Well, he started waving the flag before. I think that's a bug. Like, he starts waving the flag when it's over. Here he's waving. I mean, that's probably not 100% reliable, but still. That should be over. Oh well. He must be kicking himself. I gifted him the win, and then the lockup happened. Again, very relatable. I've done it way too many times. Okay. Let's turn the music on. Does it work? I cannot hear it. If you're not lapped, you're still on the lead lap. I mean, but I crossed the line. It's multi-class. It's multi-class. The LMP2 decides who's the leader or when the race ends. My brain is completely fried. Well, there we go. There we go. But then why did the animation for the checkered flag turn on? I mean, that's not the main measure of when the race ends anyway. Probably I'm a bit exhausted. Race contact with sign. I crashed into sign. Even forgot to check the number. Yeah, the music stopped working. That means that it doesn't restart itself. I will fix it for next time. +3. Alright. Well, it's been 4 wins. And a couple of fun moments. And some carnage. I hope Mr. James Baldwin has had a good fun as well in the beginner races. But, well, I will have to meet him some other time in the game. And until next time, thank you guys for watching and for all the chats. And hopefully we see each other on Saturday for VEC. And until then, have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy the dinner like I will. And see you. Bye. Bye.
You